Summoned by the Emperor to make contact with him during the events of Episode 5, Darth Vader would discover the truth already recognized by his master Darth Sidious. The Sith had a new enemy in Luke Skywalker, who wasn't only the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star, but who Sidious had no doubt was the son of Anakin Skywalker. This was a truth Vader already knew, depending upon the source and whether we're discussing the current canon or legends. For example, in canon, Vader discovered the true identity of Luke through the efforts of Boba Fett in the aftermath of Episode 4. As we'll see, in Legends, Vader's own search and interrogation of a rebel pilot after A New Hope would reveal that Luke was his son. However, the novel The Rise and Fall of Darth Vader demonstrates that Sidious's reveal to Vader in Episode 5 that the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star was the offspring of Anakin Skywalker was the first time Vader made this connection himself. Shocked and not understanding how such a thing could be possible until Sidious implored Vader to search his feelings. Therefore, there is established lore within Legends that clearly shows Sidious knew Luke's identity before Vader did. But regardless, in all of these instances, Sidious never learned any of these truths and answers from Vader, and so it must be asked. How did Sidious learn Luke was the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star, that Luke was a Skywalker, and then made the connection that Luke was the son of Anakin? In Legends, because it appears Sidious knew all of these things at once, it might be possible Sidious always knew the offspring of Anakin was alive somewhere in the galaxy. Given that Padme had been removed from Mustafar by Obi-Wan, and he never confirmed the exact circumstances of her death, maybe Sidious always considered the possibility that Anakin's child would one day rise and emerge onto the galactic stage, with the Dark Lord of the Sith always preparing for that eventuality. However, we know this isn't true from the novel Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader. As seen in that novel, Sidious was certain, much like Vader was in the years after Episode 3, that Vader killed Padme on Mustafar, and with her, their child as well. In fact, Padme's death wasn't a surprise for Sidious at all, as he assumed that even if Vader's fury hadn't been unleashed upon her, Padme would have lost the will to live, given the heartbreak caused by Anakin's actions within the Jedi Temple. But the novel is clear. Sidious was informed of Luke's identity, both as the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star and as a Skywalker, allowing him to conclude he was the son of Anakin. And to see exactly how Sidious learned this information initially in Legends, we'll look at the 1999 comic series Vader's Quest, which took place in the aftermath of Episode 4. Following the Battle of Yavin, the series opens with Vader interrogating a captured rebel pilot named Thurlow Harris on the planet of Centaurus, with the help of an agent named Ban Papiga. With Vader getting impatient, Harris finally gave up the name of the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star at Yavin, with the name of Skywalker being recorded onto a device that Ban would then provide to Vader. As all of this was going on, we see a number of bounty hunters watching the interrogation, placing bets on whether the rebel pilot would break or not, including a woman named Mala Mala. But Vader couldn't wait any longer, demanding he be provided the name immediately. When Ban couldn't remember the exact name, he provided Vader with the recording device, hearing the name of the rebel pilot for the first time, Skywalker. And Vader instantly became enraged. We looked at Vader's path of destruction that ensued after this moment in a video from earlier this week, which I'll put a link to in the description below if you'd like to see Vader's vengeance against the bounty hunters. But the more important point for our video here is this. Not wanting to take the risk that one of the bounty hunters present also heard the name of Skywalker, Vader began hunting down and eliminating every bounty hunter to hide the identity of the rebel pilot from the Empire, and begin his own machinations and plans with Luke. Ultimately, Vader would succeed, eliminating every bounty hunter and the agent Ban until there was only one who remained, Mala Mala. Eventually, Mala, who was being hunted down by Vader's stormtroopers and on the run, would find the captured rebel pilot Harris, asking him exactly what he told Vader, which now made her a target of the Dark Lord. Although he was filled with regret that he betrayed Luke, Harris told Mala that it was a pilot named Skywalker who destroyed the Death Star. With Mala now knowing the name of the rebel pilot as well, she then turned her droid 4D upon Harris, with the rebel accepting his fate as he'd come to terms with the fact that he wouldn't be able to live as a traitor to the rebellion and to Luke. With that, Vader and Mala were now the only ones who knew Luke's true name and his connection to the destruction of the Death Star. With Vader stormtroopers intercepting Malla upon Centaurus before she could flee the planet, Malla and 4D decided they would go out fighting rather than surrender to Vader, and as they engaged the stormtroopers, 4D was destroyed, causing both the droid and Malla to fall from a nearby cliff, plunging to the ground below them. As the stormtroopers reported what they saw to Vader, it appeared the Sith Lord was convinced, at least to his own satisfaction at this point, that he was now the only individual in the galaxy not connected directly to the rebellion who knew Luke's full identity, and boarded a shuttle to report to Coruscant. However, we then see that Malla did indeed survive her fall, being rescued and escaping the planet with another of her droids named B6, and recognized she now contained the name that Vader was so determined to keep hidden. We then see Vader go directly before the Emperor for the first time since the Battle of Yavin, reporting the results of his search for the rebel pilot who destroyed the battle station. Only demonstrating that he was beginning to put the pieces together, Vader decided to lie to his master and keep the name of the rebel pilot to himself, despite Sidious's specific questions about the pilot's identity. When Sidious asked his apprentice if he was attempting to hide anything, Vader revealed not the name of Skywalker, but only his desire for vengeance against the pilot, which Sidious accepted, allowing Vader to leave the throne room. Since an intruder alarm had sounded during their discussion, indicating someone breached the perimeter, Vader examined the evidence and found there was a possibility it could be Malla, meaning she was now on Coruscant. Vader was now only relatively confident he was the only one who knew the pilot's connection to the name Skywalker. And Vader was right to be concerned about Malla, as we eventually see she was able to reach Coruscant, as well as evade the stormtroopers sent to capture her by Vader, and ultimately gained an audience with Emperor Palpatine himself within his throne room. In exchange for the name of the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star, Malla appears to have only asked for spare parts that would allow her to rebuild the droids who she saw as her friends, who she lost along the way through her journey from Centaurus. The Emperor was amused by her spirit, and although he offered her much more in return for her information, she turned it down, simply content with achieving some small amount of revenge and with what she had been provided, with Sidious then allowing Malla to leave before Vader returned to confront her. But it's clear that Sidious was then able to begin making the connection between the rebel pilot Luke and Anakin Skywalker that would culminate in Episode 5. As the series ends with Sidious confirming he'd let Vader continue to lie to him about the identity of Luke, while he would know the truth and the connections that existed through his former life as Anakin Skywalker. Therefore, it was from Malla that Sidious was able to learn the rebel pilot who destroyed the Death Star had the name of Skywalker, and eventually realized, just as Vader did, his connection to Anakin. So there we have it, how Palpatine discovered Luke was a Skywalker and the son of his apprentice Darth Vader. Thank you very much to all of the Patreon members of Star Wars Reading Club, as your support is so greatly appreciated. You can find all of our social media links and a link to our Star Wars gaming channel in the description below for updates and even more Star Wars content. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions. Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me... For 4D.